If not, what about the little exercise we did now? Did everybody understood what we just did? What it means by turning on archiving? Stan in Houston, you did turn on archiving too, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What background process gets turned on when you turn on archiving? Any idea?
Yeah, see. Mm-hmm. Okay.
How would you find out if archiving is running? Who remembers what they did? What is the command to find out if archiving has been turned on? We just did it. Everybody look back at the notes and see if you can see the command that you used to confirm that your archiver is running.
Archive log list.
Please, everyone, you want to remember that. How to confirm if archiving is running. So guys, how to confirm if archiving has been turned on. Inside your SQL Plus, you type archive. Stanley, tell me, is it one word, archive log, or two words?
2 words.
So it's 3 words, archive log list, right?
Yes.
And guys, when you do that, you must end that with a semicolon. What is another command? Look in the book there to see if there's another thing we did to confirm if archiving is turned on. We did a select statement. Was there a select statement somewhere in there?
Yes, select archival format.
There is 3 of them.
Okay. So that one was something like select what?
Archival from vInstant.
Archiver?
Yes.
Like that?
Yes, sir.
From V dollar. V dollar instance. Then end with a semicolon. So guys, you see the different ways here. Number 1, number 2. Wait a minute, just hang on. I see this thing going off and on. Why? Just a second, guy. That's something new. Why is it going off and on? It's done that a couple of times. Just 1 second. May have to reboot the whole thing, it looks like, if it happens again. The next one, who could guess another method? Another one is this, guys. You can use the PS minus EF pipe grep. This will grab what? Can somebody guess? But this is generic, okay? You then now grab something. What could we grab here? Maybe we'll grab A ARC. I want someone to type that and tell me what they see. Everybody type that command for me. Who did? Who found anything?
What's up? What's up, brother?
As a matter of fact,
No class, man. Some class, man.
let me close that. Somebody found something. What did that command give you, Napoleon?
It's a good swap.
Napoleon.
This was a good swap.
And then, what did that command give you? Okay, my thing here keeps blipping. So I may have to, before I really start, I may have to, I may really like to reboot my computer here. Yes. I don't like it when it's doing that. What's that password?
So, Prof is showing the different archive 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3 in class D.
Okay, PS minus EF pipe grep, guys. So we do pipe grep and we do what is that command again?
ARC.
ARC. So if I hit that, we see, guys, we read in the book that when you turn on archiving, it starts 4 archival processes for you. You can see the 4 right here, guys. From number 0 to number 3, so there are 4 archival processes. Guys, I want everyone to catch me PS minus EF pipe grep. Then you enter anything. Like if I want to know what listener is running on my machine, I do the same command, but instead of ARC, I can type LSN and I hit enter. And it will give me this. So I know there's a listener running called listener on my machine. Cool. Guys, catch that tiny little idea. Okay, all right. So let's go to the next thing. Let me see what else. Uh-oh. Why did it turn small, for crying out loud? Just 1 second, guys. My air server is... Where's my air server? Let me close that bad boy and open it. off again. All right, let's go to the book, I think. So guys, those little practical things I did this evening, they may look really small, but I tell you the truth, they are key. Very, 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 very important. Very, very, very important. I hope you caught them. Okay, so guys, let's start chapter 23. It's all about this thing here called Arman. Oh, just 1 second. Don't seem to be sharing yet. So the entire chapter is about Arman, and we would run through that and see how you back up your database with Arman. So let's very quickly, I'll go straight into the thing. Backup theory and basic syntax. That's the first section. So, like I said, I would go through the important things and you read the rest. There are few simple choices to be made when performing a database backup, including, guys, what you want to back up and how you want to do it. Then, to perform the backup, you must run the appropriate Arman commands. It is possible to perform backups without using Arman. Such techniques are known as, so guys, user-managed backups. Just 1 second, guys. There's something a little bit. Let me shift this on the side. So there is something called user-managed backup. Hey, from this, guys, can anybody tell us what user-managed backup is from the last sentence that I just read?
You mean an example?
Just 1 second. This thing is lagging like crazy. Having serious lags. Just a second. Let me close. Let me see something here. I want to see what you guys see. Yes, what you guys are seeing is like 15 seconds behind my movements. So let me change. Let me go to a different software and see. I just want to see if it's the same. Yep, same thing. Just 1 second, guys. I need to arrange something here. This doesn't look right. I think it's the computer itself. Because it's not just my PDF. It is basically the entire computer. So just give me 1 quick second, guys. Yeah, my man, you can just stop recording. Let me fix this, then come back to record once, give it one smooth recording. Let me reboot. I'm going to reboot one of my computers right now because I don't see any other way. Because it's so slow. Oh, yes. Man, that is bad. Okay, let me just reboot. I have two computers running. I'll reboot the one that I'm using for this purpose. Let me do. While I'm doing this, guys, anybody has a question on what we have done so far? We just enable archiving. We turn on the blockchain tracking. Who knows what BCT is? Blockchain tracking. Who remembers what it is? Anybody? Anybody remembers what BCT is? Hello? We did something called BCT in that exercise, blockchain tracking. Does anybody online kind of recalls a little bit what it is?
Blockchain tracking. Once the blocks are changed and archived, they are tracked. For example, with the block numbers, so that for backup reasons, they can know which ones from where, from which blocks to pick.
Yeah, absolutely perfect answer. Guys, we did that in class. We talked about it before. Maybe I should show you that, you guys that again. Just 1 second. Where is my horsey here? Yeah, maybe I should show that to you guys again, then it may start to make sense. But for now, it sounds like it doesn't make sense. Okay, let me do share screen, share screen. Blockchain tracking, it's meant to facilitate backup. So any block that changes after the last backup, that block is documented inside the blockchain tracking file, which we just created. Maybe I should actually take a tiny little break and explain that. Just a second. I think I must do that because.
So, Prof.
Yes, ma'am.
After the first full backup, any blockchain, the blockchain tracker will add the record of it.
Would add the block address.
Okay.
In that file, so that when we want to do backups, Arman would simply read that file and it would know which blocks have changed recently so that it can go change those blocks.
Okay.
That's the whole idea. That's the whole thing.
Okay, sir.
Instead of going to look among 10 billion blocks, Arman would simply run to that one spot and it is going to pick out that block that changed. That's the whole idea about blockchain tracking. So if you Let me see. Let me get in. Where is our famous drawing? Come on, drawing, come over here. So guys, we remember our drawing here. Block change tracking is this thing up here. Where is it? Here. They actually call it change tracker, CTWR. So any block that changes here, right? The server process would put that block number in the CTWR buffer cache or buffer area. That's memory area. And then the CTWR background process would flush these things occasionally to the CT file or change track file, or you can call it block change tracking file. Okay, CT file, that's change tracking file. This thing here, guys, better pay attention. That's that whole section. And we responded because that process, CTWR or change tracker, is not running by default. You have to turn it on if you need it, if you want to use it. So what we did today was I'm looking for the note here. What we did was somewhere in here, because if you look at the heading of this note, it says setup FRA, turn RCVW, that's recovery writer, and block change tracker. Okay? And that block change tracker, it's really easy how you turn it on. Let's scroll down to the part. It has to do with flashbacks, because that thing creates flashback logs. See, if you select from $$ database, select flashback, you're going to know if that thing is turned on or not. Like this, guys. Yes, so flashback is turned on. That's what that little thing, that note there means, right? And if I go back here and go down, how do you enable it? You enable it. Oh, I don't have the statements correct. I hope you guys notice it. These statements should be, just 1 second. Let me see if in the real original notes it's like that. Yes. Just 1 second. Let me correct that in the original notes. How to transition. Right here. Oh. So if you do show parameter flashback, let's run that and see what it gives to us. So DB flashback retention. So the flashback logs are retained for this amount of seconds. You can divide that to know how many hours or days that will be. Okay? Let's go back to the document. Oh, it's like this. So I put it here. The default value is, actually it's a minute, 1440 minutes, which is 1 day. The following command specifies the flashback windows for 3 days. So 3 times 1440. That's why it will give us that number. Okay? So if you run that, you're setting it for that number of days. What is that, guys? Is this thing here? I want everybody to watch carefully. Is this. How long do we keep this? Guys, when the recovery writer creates these flashback logs, how long do we hold them before they are deleted? That's what that is. Oops. Just a second. Where am I running from again, for crying out loud? Just 1 second. Down. Okay, it's here. My window just closed on me. Da-da-dig. Just 1 second. Oh, no, I was looking at it from, was it from here? No, from here. From here, yeah. So guys, that number means 3 days. We can keep flashback logs for 3 days. Then let's see the next thing that we saw. And if flashback is not turned on, this is how you turn it on. Alter database flashback on. Then turn on block change tracking. To turn block change tracking, this is the statement. Alter database enable block change tracking using file. You give your own file name that you want. And this is how I'm calling my file name. And I say reuse so that if the file exists, it will just reuse it. It will not give me an error. Okay? Cool. So if I write select star, it's going to give me the file. If I wanted to know where it is. So run that statement. So it tells me flashback is enabled and the file name is that. And this is the size of the file. But I want you guys to watch some other thing. Just show you guys this as a bonus of what we're doing. If we do this, I want everybody to watch. This is the entire statement that we used to create that file. I want you guys to just take note of some tiny little thing here. I can run that statement again. It will run. Oh, it turns out already enabled. If I want to disable it, it is to run this statement. Alter database disable block change tracking. That's how you disable that thing. To run that, it is disabled. So if I run this select statement again, it's going to tell me that it is disabled and there's no file. But now watch what I'm trying to show you guys. I can run this statement just up to here without specifying the file name. Put a semicolon. I want everybody to watch. It will create the file in some default location. Let me run this and you guys see where the file is located if you don't specify a location. Okay, it was smart enough. As a matter of fact, it put it in where we have our OMF. Our OMF is in this directory. No, actually we'll set OMF here. But you see, I had it in U03. And here, see the file name. And it created a folder called change tracking. I put the file inside. So you can decide to create the file without specifying a location, and it will create the file for you in your Oracle Managed File directory. That I'll just leave like that for you. Cool. Any question on this? Blockchain tracking, guys, relies on. So guys, read this whole thing for me, okay? We cannot go reading everything in class, or our class would never end. Just 1 more second. 1 more second. Let me do. Okay, no more 1 second. Let me just end right there, and let's jump into the class of the day.
I have a quick question, Prof. Just
yes, sir.
Florida, you want to go first?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Prof, if you log in into an idle instance and you start up and it says memory target not supported on this system, what does that mean really?
Memory target.
Yes,
now,
sir.
Let me come and explain. It's something a little bit long, but it's something we did in class. It means this. We go back to my favorite diagram. I want you to watch this diagram carefully. What part of this diagram is memory? Here, physical files. processes, SGA. Which part of this is memory? Is memory this section here, physical file area, processes, or the SGA area?
The SGA.
The SGA.
Yep. This has to do with memory. Everything here has to do with memory. And now watch at the far end here. SGA target, dynamic resizing of SGA. SGA max size. There's another one called memory target, memory max target. When you set that parameter, right, I could have actually written by it here. When you set that parameter, what you're saying, telling Oracle is, I would give you X amount of memory, and you, Oracle, you take it, you're going to divide it amongst all the SGA and PGA memory areas. Oracle will make the decision how much each space will be. When you set memory target, when you set SGA target like this, you're saying this. You want Oracle, you are going to give one value for the SGA. And Oracle would take that one value, that memory size, and share it amongst RadioLock, flashback buffer, buffer cache, library cache, shared pool, large pool. It is the responsibility of the Oracle server to do that. But it will not include the PGA. If you do memory target, you see where I have these green arrows ending. If you do memory target, that arrow at the top should move and include the PGA. So when you start up your database, it is memory target not supported. It is because in that particular case, I think you don't have enough memory that that Oracle requires to be able to share it amongst all the things that it needs. Okay, that's the main reason why you have that particular message. So one of the ways to fix that message is to, in reality, just 1 second here. One of the ways to fix that problem, right, is to give more memory by maybe decreasing the amount of memory for the BTDEV. So for example, watch this. I type PS minus EF pipe grep smon. This tells me that I have two databases running on this machine. That's what that means. And I can go find out which of them uses memory target and which of them uses SGA target. So let's start with BTDEV. I'll log into BTDEV and I'll simply do show parameter.
So the show is missing W.
Yeah, it's still gonna take it. Okay, yeah, I could live without a W. So guys, watch. This thing is using memory target. No, SGA target. So my maximum SGA is 1200 megabytes, and I am using 1200 megabytes currently. SGA target. Now watch the next one. We can now do show parameter memory. I want you to see memory target is 000. 00 means memory target is not being used. In this case, because the database is running on SGA target. Now let's go check your other database. So do exit, go to the 11G database, log into that database, and we're going to do show parameter SGA. This database is not using SGA. You know why? For the minimum size being used right now is 0. But they tell you that if we ever have to use it, we cannot go past that size. So this database is definitely using but memory target. Watch that. If I do show parameter memory. Yep, we use memory target. You see here it has values. Because it has grabbed this amount of memory, your other database doesn't have enough memory to take from the operating system. And that's why you have that error. The other way to fix that your error is reduce the amount of memory here. That's I wanted to reduce this memory, guys. I do alter system set. You all remember that. System set. And I enter. I'm going to do max. I want you guys to watch. Max target equals. If you notice here, it is that. I want to make it just 1,000. So we could make it, let's do it 10. 1000 n. It's going to convert it to multiples of 8. Notice the error. 2095 cannot be modified because it's a static parameter, guys. That's why. So for us to modify it, who can tell us how to modify this error, this parameter? For us to modify it, we're going to do that, and we do SP file. Is it? No. What's that command? Oh, scope. We're going to do scope equals SP file. So it's going to keep it in the SP file till we boot up the database. That's what that means. Then when we do that, let's also change this other guy. So I do alter system set. Memory target equals. Let me make this much smaller. What about make it 956M? And what's this? I will not put scope. That one works. You guys see that? Because that one is a dynamic parameter. So if I do show parameter memory again, notice the value of that one, the value of memory max is still the same, but memory target has changed. But if we do startup force, let's shut down and start up again. If it comes up, that memory max target value should change. So after it comes up, let's run this thing again. So run that. Now you see the value is our 1,000. Because I've reduced this, the other database has more memory now to play with. Okay? So for you, that's what you may do. Otherwise, you can log in and you make these things here 0. Then your database will start up.
Prof, in this case here, since we have the other database that was using SGA, and the max target was showing the same as the
because it's
as the current value.
Yeah.
So meaning that is using all of that memory.
Yeah, it's using all that is allocated for it.
Yes. So if you alter this one now, don't we have to go and alter that one because it will be short in the required memory which is already using it.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that approach.
Or maybe you can alternate sessions between the databases.
Yep.
Maybe if you want to use this one today, you can allocate the memory here and yes.
Or you just shut down the other one you're not using.
Okay.
Because the two are running concurrently. Cool. Any question, guys?
Okay.
Yeah, a
Then
question.
I had my own personal question.
Go ahead. George.
Yeah, so Prof, on this architecture here, regarding the BCT, I was having the impression that the the BTT is tracked based on the information that has been committed. But from this architecture here, it shows that immediately the block is changed, it is able to be flushed even when it's not yet committed, while it's still there because these blocks are still there in the SGA.
These are only blocks that have been committed, have been changed.
Oh.
They have committed data. Means whatever is inside is committed. But they have data in it that was not there since the last backup. So they have to be written back their addresses have to be written in the city file. So when Arman comes to backup, it will go back up because Arman backs up at the block level. It will back up just those blocks. You will not waste time backing up things that don't matter. Or it will not go searching everywhere. I think that's the main thing. To speed it up, to make it go faster.
Yes.
It will not spend time looking for files all over around the world.
It's only looking for the recent change.
Yeah, looking for file blocks that have changed but have not been backed up.
Yeah.
It's only about backups. I think it's only working on one thing, backups. And what are they backing up? Blocks.
Changes.
Okay, with that said, I think we must have revised our whole architecture again so we can truly, let's move on for a few pages before we take our little break. I just realized it is break time even. Okay, guys, hey, user managed backup is backup that you backup without Arman, okay? So guys, everybody, you have your textbook with you, you do. You want to mark this word. What is a user managed backup? The book tells us it is possible to perform backups without using Arman. You see this? That's backups without using Arman. Such techniques are known as user managed backup, as opposed to the Arman one is called Arman server managed backup. User managed backups are perfectly valid, but who really cares? We don't need them anymore. Hey guys, Arman is very, very simple. Using Arman can be simple or somewhat complex, depending on how you look at it. Let's go down to the next section. Backup concepts. So let's learn a few terminology here. Wow, that thing is lagging so bad. I finished already. Then I look up, it's still highlighted. That drives me crazy, isn't it? I really, 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 really hate that. Just 1 second. Is it my network that just got messed up or what? Like my network just started misbehaving. So I may have to change networks again. Just 1 second, guys. I just realized a big lag. Big one. Big lag. We noticed a big lag. So Arman, guys, is the #1 tool for database backup. If you ever ask, how do you back up your Oracle database? First word from my mouth should just be Arman. We back up with Arman. And that is physical backup, right? Then there's logical backup, which is with data pump, which we did already. That one, we're not even debating that one. Cool. Just a second. Where is my thing here? All right, open Zoom again. Hey guys, I think I have to spend like $3,000 just buy me a brand new machine and close my eyes and forget about the old one. Oh, that's not working. So that machine is not working anymore. It used to work. It used to work. Just before this class. Just a second, my people. Let's cancel that. Go share. Yes, I want to share my screen. I want to share on that. It's a bit lagging anymore. Yeah, I'll open just one thing on this machine. This is what I'm struggling to bring up. Now let me see. You know, the only way I can know that it's working properly is to see it.
We can't hear you, bro.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. I'm just putting my monitoring machine on the other side. Cool, let me see. Hey, Lord have mercy. The lag is even worse. What? What happened? I'm actually moving it, but I know you guys don't see it. But I'm looking at two different monitors now, and I can see that I'm moving, but it is not. For example, just highlighted a bunch of things. It's not highlighted on that screen. See that thing I'm drawing there? I drew it for a little while. Now I just took it off. It's still sitting on that screen. It just disappeared now. Oh. I wonder, could it be my network, my internet standard? I know you're a network guy. Maybe I just need to get rid of Comcast. Okay, we are just going to continue, and I'll be mindful that it is lagging, because you guys can hear me before I even move my screen. So, everybody watch. If you watch your screen, you're going to see there, it says backup concepts. Let's talk about this backup concepts a tiny little bit. It's just some terminology that we need to learn, really. And looking at it, folks, the first section there says the database on which backup or restore operations are to be carried out is known as the target. So guys, the first word you should learn here is the word target. That word target at the end of that line. In some environments, there will be many databases, therefore, many RMAN targets. You will connect to each database in turn. Every backup of a target will have certain attributes. So guys, in other words, your backups may be open or closed. Okay? So guys, just watch the different backup attributes. Your backup can be open or closed. That's number one there. And number two, it can be whole or partial. And number three, it can be full or incremental. And number four, this thing can be to disk or to tape. And number five, you can do a backup copy or a backup set. So backup copy and backup set, right, are the types of backups that you can do. These are, let me call this backup files. When you back up, it will go to a file, and it can be going to file as a copy or as a set of or as a set of files. And then below they tell us that a combination of these attributes is possible, but only depending on the environment and configuration. You may be limited to only a subset of attributes. Sometimes, guys, you may not be able to do all of those, depending on your environment. In all cases, the backup is accomplished by the Oracle server process. Guys, who does your backup? The Oracle server process. Not SMON, not PMON, not the database writer. Okay? So that server process is launched in response to commands issued within the RMAN. The RMAN architecture, do we have to go through this? Maybe just a tiny little bit. The RMAN executable is a user process. So guys, watch here. RMAN is a user process just like C++. Okay? That's something to catch. So, the RMAN logs onto an Oracle database, which is the target, either locally using inter-process communication IPC or remotely using TCP. Guys, I want to also underline this for me. What does TCP mean? As you do computers, there's some terms you learn along the way in different topics. So there is a protocol called TCP, Transmission Control Protocol. Okay? That is what the database uses. Remember when we configured the listener and TNS name, we saw somewhere where we have to pick TCP IP. That's what it was. Okay? And it continues to say, and the database listener. You guys, remember we saw the listener. Once connected, the user can issue commands to carry out backups. These operations are performed by additional Oracle server processes launched as necessary. So guys, I want you guys to catch. It's one of the biggest things here. They said these operations, our backup, right, is done by Oracle server processes launched as necessary, known as a channel. Right? What is a channel? A channel is a server process. Oh, it's written right here. I want everybody who has a pen and write me down this one. The channel is a server process like any other. And then we also saw that an RMAN executable is a user process like any other, right at the top there. So people, there is something called a channel that you must know now and forever. Don't talk about it again. The server process that does the backup is called a channel. And we can invoke several server processes or several channels to do the backup for us. And what is the job of the server, of the channel? Say its function is restricted to copying files. So all that a channel does is copy files. A major feature of RMAN is the repository. This is another word to catch. Everybody don't miss this word. See those words? When I circle them, you have a book with you, circle them with a red pen also. What is a repository? What is a repository, guys? Let's see, it's coming ahead. The RMAN repository consists of metadata regarding backup. That's it. I want everybody to write me down that one. Everybody, I'll stop for a while. Everyone's going to write me down two things. A channel is a server process like any other. Then you also write a repository consists of metadata regarding backups. Everybody write me down those parts there. Maybe I'll write it so you really know it's important. The channel is a server process. That copies files on behalf of what? RMAN. Then, what is the other thing? Repository. Repository contains, I won't put consist, I'll say contains metadata. Remember data about data. Metadata regarding what? Backups. Everybody mark that for me for repository and a channel. Tomorrow I ask you, don't say you never heard this. Please, 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 please. Okay, so far, those are the two important points we've seen so far. With my thing lagging behind so badly. Okay, let's go to the next page. Next page. Let me see if there's another thing very important on the next page for me to talk about. This is never. So on the next page, just looking at it, Now let's go back to, let's talk more about the repository. Go back to the previous page. That repository, they say this includes details. So guys, what is the metadata? The metadata includes details of what has been backed up, where the backup files are, and what archive log files exist, what persistent configuration settings have been, next page, made, and everything Arman will ever need to understand the database and backup, such as the restore and recovery operations, can be fully automated for such that. So guys, that metadata contains a lot of things inside. So the repository, guys, is made up of metadata, and the metadata contains what, guys? Details. It contains details of, number one, what has been backed up. Number two, where has the backup files been kept? Number three, what archive log files exist? Number four, what persistent configuration settings have been made? Let's go to the next page. And that was number 4. So the fifth thing inside the repository is everything. It contains everything Arman will ever need to understand the database and the backups, such that restore and recovery operations can be fully automated. Whew. The repository is important, guys. The repository exists in either one or two places. Interview question. So guys, where is the repository? It exists in one or two places. Guys, it exists in, just 1 second. Just 1 second. Where is that thing? Okay. So the repository exists in, let me see, one or two places. Let me highlight them. Target database control file. A copy of the repository is always in this place, guys. Always in the target database control file. Relying solely on this can potentially have two. First, information can be stored for only a limited amount of time. So the control file is not too big, so we cannot keep much information in it. Specifically, this is the number of days specified in, guys, there is a parameter here that we need to know. That parameter is called control file record keep time. What is control file record keep time? What is that, guys? Who sees the meaning of control file record keep time? It is number of days specified. No. Number of days for which the repository can keep information about the backup or can hold metadata. Okay? And the default is 7 days. You'll see that little question on an interview. The metadata by default will stay in the control file for 7 days. If you want to increase that number, means you have to increase the control file record keep time parameter. If you are using only the control file based repository, so guys, so there is control file based repository. So they tell us that if you are using just that, you probably want to adjust this to allow Arman to remember information for a longer period of time. For example, you can do this, guys. Remember, I always do show parameter. Show parameter, this is it, Stanley. See, show them with that W.
Yes, sir.
But you can put a W if you like typing with that one character. I like to save my energy. So, alter system set. Control file record keep time. See that? Equals. So that is how you increase that. Hey guys, you cannot take the Oracle exam without seeing that parameter, okay? It determines how long the metadata of a backup can stay in the control file of the database being backed up. Arman can also use a secondary storage for the repository. So guys, new idea here. This requires creating a schema in the database known as Arman catalog. Ooh. There is something called Arman catalog database. So people, what is the topic? Arman metadata. Where can the metadata be kept? It can be kept in the target control file or in the Arman catalog. And the catalog should be, the next line says, the catalog should be created in the database used solely for this purpose. The catalog can record metadata for many targets. Because it's a database, it can record metadata for many targets and acts as a central repository for all backup information. When using a catalog, there is no effective limit to the time frame for which backup information can be stored. Using a catalog also enables some of the more advanced features of Arman. So guys, we've seen something. Let me write here what I want you guys to catch from this page. There is target. Control file. That's number one. Number two is the Arman catalog. What are these? I could have written metadata as, no, not just metadata. Arman metadata. Metadata can be kept in, two places. The target control file and the Arman catalog. As well, put Arman catalog DB. That's Arman catalog database. Okay. Please, everybody, write me down this. Even though I wrote it down so crookedly, we need to remember that. So, where does Arman backup? Arman backup can be directed to disk location or to tape. So guys, your backup can be sent to disk or to tape. Backups to disk backup to disk is always available and requires no configuration. Yep. To use a tape device, Arman needs assistance from the hardware manufacturer. This is in the form of a dynamically linked library provided by the hardware vendor. So guys, if you have backup disk, right, where you want to do your backups, you're going to install some special software from whoever made that disk to be able to make, so that Arman will be able to read and write on those disks. That's what that whole section is all about. For example, if you are going to use an automated tape library manufactured by IBM, you will need to buy IBM's Tivoli Storage Manager Agent for Oracle. This code will allow Arman to drive the tape library. Within the Arman environment, there is minimal difference when using tape devices. Arman conceals all the complexity. Okay. Now, the next line, which is so important, I will mark it up again. Guys, is this. Arman, oops, we highlight that. Arman can create two types of backups. What are the two types? Image copies and backup sets. So let's talk about an image copy. An image copy backup. What does that bad boy do for us? Generates an output file that is byte for byte identical to the input file. So that's the first point. And the second point is the backup set. A backup set is a more intelligent structure. It can combine several input files into one output file. It will not include blocks. So guys, catch this. Backup set will not include blocks of the input files that have never been used. It can be compressed. The backup set, guys, can be compressed and even encrypted. And it can be divided into multiple pieces. So guys, this section right is so important. I just want to cut the terminology here and breathe it in for a little while. Everybody put me the biggest tie you can here. Read this thing like 10 times over. Then if it doesn't make sense, at least you know it, then you can bring it up again. So guys, what is a backup piece? Oops, I missed highlighting that. Pieces are the physical files that make up the backup set. Let's start there. The backup set is made up of backup pieces, guys. Backing up in one page. I mean, that's all we need to know. Guys, this section of the book is so important. I'd like you to read it over and over again later on. So let's go to this backup in one piece. If you have your book with you, number one is called an open, or also known as hot or inconsistent backup. Everybody must know what this is, okay? So highlight that. Open, hot, or inconsistent backup. Since I'm there, let me go write the second one. The second one would be, where is that?
The whole backup.
Not even that. Is this closed, core, or consistent backup? That would have to be number 2. So guys, pay attention there. Then our number 3 would be a whole backup. Yes, whole backup. That would be number 3. And number 4 would be a full backup. Let's see if there's any. Yep. So guys, if we could catch and understand these 4 things just as phrases, it's a very, 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 very good start. And that might be all we need. So let's find out, guys, what is a hot backup or open backup or inconsistent backup? What is that? Guys, and they say an open backup is performed while the database is in use. That's it. It is possible to perform an open backup. No, it is impossible to perform this kind of backup unless the database is in archive lock mode. Guys, remember we talked about archive lock mode today. If you don't have the archiver running, you cannot do an open or hot or consistent backup. This is because any backup of an open file will be inconsistent. It will take an appreciable period of time to read the file and write the copy. And during this time, the file is being updated. You see that? Let's say you have a file, guys, that is 500 megabytes, one file, and you're backing it up. And the backup takes an hour. Within that 1 hour, data might have been written in that file again. Then, which means the file now is not like the backup file has changed. It will take okay, we did that already. Therefore, the copy will not represent a stable version of the file. Okay? Actually highlighted a different line. I want you to do that line. In archive log mode, this is not a problem because the redo. So guys, why? Because the redo log stream will have a record of all changes applied to the file in the form of changed vectors. Guys, take note of that, change vectors. Let's go to the next section. And those change vectors, they say that are applied to the Oracle block while the backup is in progress. If it is ever necessary to restore the file from the backup, the information in the redo log stream be to make the inconsistent backup usable by applying these changes. If a database were not in archive log mode, the redo from the time the backup was made will not be available. So guys, hey guys, think about it. The whole idea is this. An open backup, right, is one that the database is running normally, people are working in it. Then you start to back up this huge file. By the time you finish copying it, more data has come into it or some data has been deleted. So you do your backup, but it is not consistent because it will be missing some things later. And that's why if you have your archiver running, right, all the changes that are coming in and out, the archiver is keeping a record of them. So you do a hot backup, later on you can take the files that the archiver kept and you bring your database into a very, very stable state. Let's look at the next one, closed or cold or consistent backup. So guys, this particular one, right, is performed while the database is in no mount mode. Guys, pay attention. That one, database is in no mount mode. The control file must be mounted for Armand to have access to its repository. closed backups are consistent. The data files are stable. Closed backup is the only type of backup possible if the database is in no archive lock mode. Guys, pay attention to that. You're running in no archive lock mode, your option is only to do a closed backup. What about a whole backup? The next one. A whole backup is the entire, so that one, guys, is the entire set of data files and control files. So if you back up everything, that will be called a whole backup. A partial backup. Oops, I could have highlighted that separately too. Right? Let me change my color. So there is a partial backup. Closed and partial. Right? What is a partial backup? That one, we are told that it is a subset. It is a subset of the database. Whole backup is the only type of backup possible in no archive lock mode. Right? Whole backup, the only type. This is because to open a database, all data files must be consistent up to the same system change number. There is something called system change number, which you guys we've talked about before. It may start to make sense now. The SCN, system change number. If the backup consists of several partial backups, each partial backup will be at a different SCN. And following a restore, redo data is required to bring all the backups up to the same SCN. This redo data would not be available in no archive lock mode. What about a full backup? What is a full backup? Guys, a full backup is when you back up so for that particular one, say you back up every used block of every file. Whew. Guys, you guys catch that one? Somebody write that one down. Full backup contains every used block of every file. Here, they do not say some files. Every file. An incremental backup has only those blocks. Let me also highlight this word now separately. Guys, there's full backup, and then there's incremental backup. We learned that incremental backup has only those blocks that have been changed since the last backup. An incremental backup strategy must start with a full backup. That's true. Followed by as many incrementals as you like. But a restore will always require first restoring the full backup, known as level 0. Right? Level 0 backup. And then applying the incremental backups to bring the files up to date. Only after a new level 0 backup is taken and any of the previous backups discarded. So guys, if you do a level 0 backup right now, it means all backup that you have done within the past few days are useless. So you throw them away. You start from level 0.
Prof, can I ask a quick question then?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the difference then between the old backup and the full backup? Because it looks kind of the same thing.
Now, guys, everybody watch up there. Whole backup, top of the page there, is the entire, in other words, it backs up the entire set of data files and control files. So if you have data files that did not even contain data. They will be backed up by the whole backup. You see? So the backup, the entire, so all the data files, the control files. But the full backup contains every used block of every file. Yep, that's a good question, Deborah. Hey guys, the full backup deals with blocks, while the whole backup deals with files. So the full backup backs up only blocks that have data in them. But the whole backup will back up the entire block. Even if the block has 1 million, no, back up the entire data file. Even if the data file has 1 million blocks, but only one block has data, it is going to back up the 1 million blocks. That's a whole backup. It does not look at the blocks, it looks at the file. Arman syntax. Hey guys, Arman is so easy. You guys would not believe it. Guys, see how you log into Arman. Very simple. Like that. Arman target / If you all remember, we logged into the database with SQL Plus, Sys, no, not even that. SQL Plus, what is that? Was it SQL Plus that as SysDBA? Remember, could connect to the database like that. This thing there, that / represents Sys. And it's the same thing with Arman. Arman target. Or if you care, you like typing, you could type Sys and Sys password. Or you can actually type, even add behind it, your connect string. Add behind that your connect string. So guys, those are 3 ways you can use to connect into Arman. And another thing to pay attention is, whenever you connect like this, that method 1 means you're using operating system authentication. I need to clarify something now with everybody. Who understands what I mean by operating system authentication? What is operating system authentication in this case? If anybody, give me a guess.
In our scenario, be the Oracle username and password.
Yes. And what is our operating system authentication for our databases, for our machine that we're using in class? Who remembers?
Oracle.
Yep. The username is Oracle, and we know we made our password Oracle. That's the authentication. And it's because that Oracle is the owner of the Oracle software in this machine. So we can do this kind of connection. Then, the second one, target sys ... That password is stored inside the database. That is not operating. That one is database authentication. Actually, the second and the third. means the authentication, the password and username are stored inside the database. So all three log on to the target database with user sysdba privileges. In the first case, the local database instance running on the same machine identified by Oracle seed environment variable, and the user is authenticated by their operating system account. And the second example also connects, so that second example, guys, connects to the local database instance but authenticates using a database password. Guys, that one is using database password. Then the third example connects to a remote database across the network using a TNS service name, and will also use a password authentication. Once connected, you can issue your SQL commands, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's move on. Backing up in no archive lock mode. Guys, in no archive lock mode, we saw it before. Now, the only way backup in no archive lock mode is to do a cold backup. Cold backup, guys. Backing up in no archive lock mode can be accomplished only when, guys, only in no mount mode.
Mount mode.
Only in mount mode, thank you. Actually, it's something different, right? Mount mode only. So it's actually something right in here.
Meaning the database is not open.
Yes. Only in mount mode. Okay, there is some example down here. They're playing with the whole thing. Let me see if we could make any sense out of it. Just 1 second, guys. Okay, looking down here, let's see here. The guy does Arman target there, then does the shutdown immediate, then does the startup mount. Guys, watch that startup mount. Then, this is how you do your backup, guys. Very simple. Backup database, that's it. Your database will be backed up like no man's business. The next thing we would all do is try to understand what this backup statement is doing. Okay, maybe let's just run through this thing, guys. I want you to follow me carefully for this thing. So it tells us starting backup, gives us the time, and a little interview quiz now for everybody. What is this here right now? What is a channel here? Can anybody remember? Allocate channel or a disk one. What is a channel in this case? What did you say channel was? Everybody look back in their book. I did ask you.
Server process.
Yes. Here they are locating a server process. Very simple. That's a server process. Cool. And then they tell us somewhere here, starting full data file backup set. Oh, starting full database. No, starting full data file. And I want you guys to catch the word here, backup set. Guys, everybody must know what a backup set is. You must write it down before we finish this. They're specifying data files in the backup set. So guys, watch that. A backup set is made up of many data files. In this case, this backup set was made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here, there are 5. 5 data files. Okay? Then when it finishes, we see throws another message here. Starting another backup piece, 1. And that one, it is backing up. This is starting piece 1. Okay, it's actually taking that backup set, right? And it puts it inside the FRA, inside a fast recovery area. Then when that finishes, it says backup set complete, specifying full data files, specify data files, control file in backup set, and until it comes down here, it says backup set complete. Then it even gives you how long it took. That's a typical output, guy, of an Arman backup. After that, guys, we open our database, alter database open, then we exit. And we're done. But guess what? We write the shell script that will do that for us. We don't go sit there and we're typing this thing. No. No. Let me see what else. What time is it? 9:55. Okay, guys. No. Let me finish this section here. I'm just want to see if there's anything. Okay, that's it. There's nothing new here, nothing very important. But I want you guys to just read that section. Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll come back and we'll continue with backup possibilities in archive lock mode. Okay, guys, let's take a 5-minute break. Let me go outside and get some air and I'll be right back. I would be back in a few.
Stan in Virginia. It's
Yes.
Stella.
Hey, Stella.
Hi. Can I give you a call?
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty.
Hello. Prof took the access from me, so I can have access. That's why I haven't been uploaded. Just text me your email address and I'll try and share it with you on Google Drive. Yeah, you said Sunday and yesterday, right? Okay. Okay, so just send it to me and I'll just share it with you on Google Drive. All right, bye. Mhm. Hello. Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. After one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll be free like 2 o'clock. Yeah. 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 Oh, mm, yeah. The memory. Yeah, we can work on it tomorrow. Yeah, we do the exercise. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, sure. No problem. All right, boys.
All right, I am back. Let's see how far we can go. My God. Backup possibilities in archive lock mode. So let's see that, guys. The following are some simple backup commands. So, people, very simple. You can do your backup just by typing this backup data file. And you give the data file numbers. So like here, number 1, number 2. So we're backing up data file number 1. All data files have a name and a number. Guys, pay attention. Every single data file is known by a name and also known by a number. We're going to see that. Then you can back up a table space. So you do backup table space and you give the table space names. In this case, users, an example. Then you can back up your control file. So back up current control file. That's it. You back up your control file right now. Or you could simply do backup database. And you can even do just backup archive lock all. And see that, put the word all there means every archive lock file. So guys, what things are they backing up here? So backups can start from a data file, a table space, a control file, a database, and even your archive log files. Let's move on and see what else. Partial backup. A partial backup. It says that specification Partial backup specification can be a list of one or more data files identified by either file name or number, one or more table spaces, or the control file. You see, that would be a partial backup. Means you're only backing up part of. You're not backing up the entire database. Same as a whole backup. What is a whole backup? A whole backup is the entire database. Archive log files can also be backed up, meaning either all of the archive log files or a subset of them. Okay? It is also possible, as in the example following, to remove the entire log file as they are backed up. Means you back up your archive log files and you delete them. You know why? Archive log files can accumulate to fill up your entire hard drive. So we back them up and we take them away. Back them up and delete them. The default backup destination is disk. So nobody should forget that one, guys. By default, you back up to disk. Specifically to files, the backup pieces of backup sets in the fast recovery area. Guys, you remember we've seen that word fast recovery area, which would always be referred to as FRA. Usually, single line commands will not be sufficient. To chain several commands together, so guys, catch this. To chain several commands together, you must group them into a block. Guys, you put commands in a block. And a block is preceded by run. And it's enclosed in quotes or brackets. Consider this example. So guys, this is a typical backup script right here. I want you to see where it begins and where it ends. So guys, watch here. Allocate. Watch. After the allocate, they put the open bracket. Then if you go to the end, you see a bracket again. You know that is where that backup ended. So this is a typical run block. Typical run block. Or call it Arman run block. And guys, note how it begins. Allocate channel. In other words, start a server process, right? So it starts with allocate channel D1, allocate channel D2. So this one we're using 2 server processes. And we are backing up. Backup set database. And guys, see the format. After the format, they give the location and name of the backup file. So this one here is location. And that guy is name of backup file. Cool. So the first line, right? They do a compressed backup here. The first line, they back up the database. The second line, they back up the archive log file. So doing 2 backups there. And then the output there, very interesting. But let's move on to, let's move on, and I see if there's something else interesting to explain. This whole section, right, explains those things, that script at the top. And the only interesting thing, or the most important thing I'll show you guys here, would be that format, the format specification. Here, guys, if I come back to the top, let me go back to the top. I want you guys to watch this. Here, where it says database format. It then gave a name, and it gave that percentage U. You see this part, percent U. What does that percent U mean? It's something that we must know. We saw the same thing in Datapom though. Okay. So here they say the backup format includes the percent U. What does that do for us? They said this is a variable that will be expanded into a name that includes an 8-character random string to ensure that if the block is run many times, different pieces or different piece names will always be generated. The type of backup is compressed backup set. Then it says, compression will generally not only reduce the size of the backup piece, but also improve the speed of the operation. In most circumstances, the bottleneck in the backup is writing the backup piece, and compression means that there is much less to write. And the default backup type is backup set. The alternative is image copy. So guys, how do we create image copies? To create image copies, use these commands. This is how we create image copies, guys. So we do something like backup as copy. So guys, watch that. Let's say, let me get a blue color here. Let's say backup as copy data file. You don't give the data file names. Or you may actually say backup as copy database. Means you back up your entire database as copy. Hey guys, let me ask you guys one thing. Without reading the book, let everybody take your eyes off the book, off the screen. What is a backup copy? Let's say you do a backup copy of a data file. What does that mean? Anybody guess? When they say copy of something, what does that mean?
A duplicate of the original file.
Yes, mean the exact same thing. Since we know that data files are made of blocks, right? We say a block by block copy of the file. If the original file has 1 million blocks, the backup copy will have 1 million blocks. But a backup set would only backup blocks that have data. If a block has no data, has never been used, that block will not be backed up in a backup set. So for that reason, guys, which would be bigger, a backup set or a backup copy?
Backup copy.
Yep, so a backup copy will be bigger because it will it will back up even blocks that have no data in them. So backup sets are small. Okay. So looking at that thing at the top, the first command shown copies one data file to a named destination, whereas the second command copies the entire database to the default destination, which is the fast recovery area. Guys, they are explaining those lines. Okay? They're just trying to explain for us those lines. Now, guys, another thing that you must know is something called parallelism. Okay? That one says a backup command, whether creating backup sets or image copies, can be parallelized if it is executed within a run block. That includes multiple channels. Multiple channels mean many server processes, guys. Means you can take 3 server processes, right? And you do you run them, you do a backup, but you do it such that the 3 server processes are each copying one part of a file. So they're copying the same file in parallel. So at that point, the expectation is, if the backup was supposed to take 3 minutes, 3 processes should run in 1 minute, and the backup is done. So that is parallelization or parallelism. Then we see here that note that the parallelism is only within the backup command, not across backup commands. Within the backup command. Okay. So in Fedora, the backup of the data file is parallelized. And only when that is completed will the archive log files be backed up. Again, by 2 processes. Multiple files are specified for one channel. No, if multiple files are specified for one channel, the files are read concurrently and interleaved in the backup set. Guys, catch that idea. But there is no parallelism at that level. The channel process cycles through its list of files, reading blocks from each in turn. Backing up to tape rather than to disk destination requires configuration of something we call the media. So guys, there's something called the media management layer, MML. So if we need to back up to disk, we need to back up to tape, MML has to be configured. Thank God we don't really do that anymore. This is the dynamic link library provided by the hardware manufacturer. We saw the same thing before. Then within Arman, you must launch the tape channel. So guys, if you want to back up to a tape, which is now an old story, we don't do that anymore, you are going to write your command like this. Run, allocate channel. No, that T1 can be anything. So allocate channel T1, type SBT. So this is what makes it a tape backup. That word type SBT there. And if you notice here, we did this allocate channel T1, allocate channel T2, but T2 type SBT. Then after that, that's the actual backup command. So looking at this syntax here, guys, we would be doing, we are running 2 server processes. So that's a server process. So T1, so there will be a server process called T1, another one called T2. And they're all backing up to tape, backing up the database to tape. Let me just jump in there and see. Another big thing here, how do we deal with these channels? They say you would usually relate the number of channels to the number of tape drives in the library. In most cases, using tape devices is considerably more complicated than this, with many platform-specific options that must be specified. As a matter of fact, guys, we hardly use tape these days. We just back up to the cloud. So you see almost no question on tape. Now let's talk about, we got a few more minutes. So let's talk about the RMAN persistent parameters. Then we are going to do some examples of backup tonight before you all leave. I don't have the senior class today, so, okay. Hey guys, when they say something is persistent, it means once you configure it, it stays. It will not disappear, okay? It's not going to disappear at all. So they say it is persistent. So there are some RMAN parameters that when you configure them, they will disappear after, but some you can configure them and they stay permanently with the database. RMAN run blocks and stored scripts can be quite long and awkward if the defaults are not adequate. The ability to store persistent configuration settings lets the DBA modify the defaults. They can then run simple commands which RMAN will automatically modify at runtime. So guys, because of the persistent commands, right, we can keep almost all our scripts, everything in the persistent commands. Then we just type some simple thing like backup database, restore database, and it does it for us by using the persistent command that we've configured inside RMAN. Setting up and clearing default values. So guys, what is this? So we're going to learn how to set up and to clear them. To see default values, guys, what is the command? To see default values, you type show all, just like here. When you type show all, you see all your default values, folks, all of them. And then you can change any of them as you wish. So we can start looking at them one by one, but I'll show you guys so you can go home and look at them. So after you type that, this says RMAN configuration parameters for database with DB unique name ORCL. And the first one that we see there is retention policy, redundancy 1. Means, guys, we should not keep any file more than once, or one copy of every file. Then our next one is configure backup optimization off. We'll figure out what that is later on. These are all the default values here. And the next one is default device type disk. By default, we'll back up to disk. And then control file auto backup. Next one is off. When you find out what this is, we will change this to on. Then the next one is control file auto backup format for device type disk to blah, blah, blah. So we're going to get all of those things explained below. And then our next one, configure device type disk parallelism. So guys, device type disk parallelism 1. Backup type to backup set. And then the next one, configure data file backup copies for device type to 1. Data file backup copies for device type disk to 1. So backup data file to disk only once. Archive lock backup copies for device type to disk 1. Then the next one, max set size to unlimited. And our next one is encryption for database off. So by default, we don't encrypt in the database. Then next one, encryption algorithm, AS126 default. Compression algorithm, basic. Hey guys, these are all the default values that have been set, right? Then we can log in and we'll change each of them the way we want. That's the whole idea here. Then let's see the next one that I kind of just saw there. Configure RMAN output to keep for 7 days. You know what that means? Means RMAN output should be kept for 7 days, the same as that metadata that we saw. Archive log deletion policy to none is the next one. Then next one, snapshot control file to blah, blah, blah. So, guys, we must understand all of this. Once you understand them, RMAN is so easy. And how would you understand them if you don't read this and write them down? Please, anybody taking this class, if you don't write down some of these words, there is no way you will remember them. I will call you next week and ask you don't remember one. But if you take the time and write down some of the words, write down all the keywords you hear, the new words, then you will be on your way to remembering these things. Otherwise, forget it. You will not remember. Except maybe your brain is different from mine. But I'll see. If it's very different, hooray. So guys, what is retention policy? That was the first one at the top. So down here, right, they explain some of those default values for us. First one is retention policy, because the retention policy was redundancy. So it's here, guys. Retention policy, redundancy 1. So what is retention policy? Let's see here. They say this thing specifies what backups RMAN should attempt to create and when they can be deleted. The default is 1 copy of every file. So that's what it is. 1 copy of every file. Then the next thing that I saw up there was optimization. Determines. So optimization, guys, so determines whether RMAN should backup files on request, even if sufficient backups already exist. The default is to back them up anyway. So guys, whether RMAN should back up files on request, even if sufficient backups already exist. And then next one was, I'll skip that one. Default device type to disk means unless directed otherwise, RMAN will launch only disk channels and will not write to tape. And then the next one, control file. Auto off. So guys, let's all mark this one. This one prevents RMAN from automatically backing up the control file as part of any other backup operation. Control file auto backup. But normally we would turn that to on. Then auto backup format generates the name and location of the control file auto backups. Device type disk parallelism. Guys, this one is very, very important. See that word there? So device type disk parallelism, 1, backup type to backup set. What does that whole jazz mean? So this means that by default, only one channel will be launched when performing a backup to disk. And that the backup will be to an uncompressed backup set. Cool. Then backup copies. And that's our last one, guys. Then we're going to practice. So, guys, if you're doing backup and you decide to do backup copies, means you specify how many copies of the backup sets should be generated when backing up data files and archive log files. Oops, there's still some more. Let's just finish this, so I'll never come back to it. So, guys, you can be backing up ARMA. You decide to do something we call max set size. What is max set size? Guys, means the biggest size one of your backup files should be. Remember the file that contains all those backup pieces. How big should it be? And he said this can restrict the size of each backup set. If this size is reached, the backup set will be closed and the backup will continue into another backup set. So guys, hope that makes sense to everybody. Hey, who doesn't understand what we mean here by backup set size? Any person needs further explanation, or you just need to see it in action, then it will make sense? I think so. In action, it will make sense, guys. Then there's encryption. The backup sets is disabled by default. So by default, guys, the backup sets are not encrypted. Then compression. For compression, if requested, that one only if requested, we'll use the basic algorithms, which is license-free. Arman run, Arman output, excuse me, controls how long to keep the results of Arman. Then there is another one, archive lock deleting policy. Yeah, I remember I saw that one. So what is the archive lock deleting policy in Arman? Let's see what that is. So that parameter allows Arman to delete automatically archive locks that are no longer needed according to various criteria. Then the snapshot control file. That one specifies a name and location to be used for a temporary copy of the control file, created as part of the control file backup mechanism. Guys, this is interesting, isn't it? When designing a backup strategy, examples of the requirements could be as follows. So guys, remember I told you guys, everybody's going to come up with a backup strategy. Everybody's going to come with a backup strategy. So this is an example of a backup strategy here, guys. They say it must always be possible to restore the database to any time in the last 2 weeks. Guys, catch that. That means a retention period must be at least 2 weeks. Do not create any more backups than are needed. That's another criteria. So save space. Backups will go to disk. So our channel will pointing to disk in this case. Using degree of parallelism of 4 channels means we will be doing parallel backup, or backing up in parallelism with 4 channels. The control file must always be included with any backup. That's another thing they ask us to do, right? Must always be included in any backup. Backups will be as compressed backup sets. Guys, catch that? Then stored in a directory. They give us the directory. So guys, so this here could be a backup strategy given by some company. And then you signal as a DBA, you configure Arman to meet up with this service level agreement strategy. Okay? And to do this, right, to configure that particular thing that they're singing about up there, to configure this requirement, these are the commands. All of these things here in place, guys. If you look at these things, configure retention policy, 14 days, that's the 2 weeks. Backup optimization, we'll put it on. Control file auto backup on, means every time we do a backup, that control file must be backed up. Device type to this, parallelism 4. So we need 4 channels running in parallel. Then the next one and the next one, okay, what really cares. So guys, so if you configure those things at the top, right, then you can say using these 2 commands are now all that is necessary. So after you have done all of this stuff, then your backup scripts will simply be this. Backup database, backup archive log, all delete input, that's it. You meet the condition that was given to you. Okay, let's just talk about this last thing here. Then we end. Persistent configurations are configured. So guys, these things are configured for each target database and stored in the RMAN repository, specifically in the target's control file and the recovery catalog, if one has been created. To run them to the default, not to return. So guys, if you have done these things at the top right, and say, oh no, I don't like that, I want to send them back the way they are, you're going to use that clear command. So we do it like this. Configure retention policy clear. Backup that clear. So as you put that clear means you're returning the thing to its original value. And I'll end right there and we continue on Thursday. But before we go, I want all of us to back up our database now. Then we can leave and go home. Because we have already configured, guys. We have already configured the backup destination. We've put the database in archive lock mode. So now we can all actually do this backup that we just saw. So with that, let me just show you guys. Everybody's going to do the backup so that when we start messing around, we will not break our database in any way, shape, or form. Even if we break it, we can restore it back. So everybody go to log into your database in Mobile Extern.
I do have a question. In the configure instruction or box, it was referring to window files, C drive.
Yeah. So we're Unix, so you just change those directories back to Windows. No, back to Unix.
Okay.
Yeah. There was showing C. So for us, we're going to have like U01 or U02 or something like that. Okay, let me log into mine. Everybody log into yours. We have the database running already. What? What is that? Just hang on 1 second, guys. My machine die or something? Oh no. Sounds like my machine, did I turn it off or something? How come? Just 1 second, guys. Something doesn't look right. Just a second. Okay, that is not going. Finally, locked in. So now, guys, if you are with me, everybody, let's do this. Let's do our, let me see what I want us to do. Let's scroll back. I want us to log into Arman, which is the example on page. Everybody, look at page 688. Page 688 is this thing here, basic Arman syntax. Okay, so that's how we're going to log into our Arman. Once we log in, we are just going to do show parameter. Because we have configured FRA already. Okay, and how do we know? Like this, guys. Everybody can just pay attention with me first, and then maybe when you understand what I'm talking about. See, I'm logged into my database, so now I can do show. Oops. Just 1 second. I'll come. I do show parameter. What is that? DB. No, not DB create file des. Just 1 second. We're going to do show parameter. Where's our backup destination again? Oh, DB recovery file dest. DB, yes. DB underscore recovery. Oop, database is down. Me exit. Log back in. I do show parameter. DB recovery. So guys, when I do this, show parameter DB recovery, let me make this a little bit bigger. It shows me DB recovery file des. That means this is my FRA location, and the size of that location is 6 gigabytes. So I can use up to 6 gigabytes for my backups there. Means my what is that? Fast recovery area FRA has been set, so my backups will go there automatically. So now, guys, so watch here. Going back to that page where I told you guys, I type Arman target / I log into Arman right away. And guys, now that I'm connecting to Arman, if I want to see my default Arman configuration parameters, I do show all. That's it. Shows me all of them. Folks, watch. Show all. It shows me all of that stuff. I can now start to change them if I need. Like this one. Backup optimization is off. I can turn it on. But the one I really want is this. This backup control file auto backup off. So guys, watch how I change it. I highlight it there, paste it, and I change that to on and semicolon. And it's going to change it for me. So if I do show all now, it shows that control file auto backup as on. So now, guys, I can now do this happily. I could do this. Backup. Table space. We know there's a table space called users. I could just do backup table space users and back up that table space for me. And its backup is done. Guys, I want you guys to watch carefully. Guys, that's the command I typed. It went through its thing and it tells me, okay, this is the data file to be backed up. And it backed it up into this backup piece. So the backup went to this place. Or a back class T backup set, today's date, and this is the name of the backup set. And because I did control file to on, right? When it finishes backing that up, it's backed up my control file and my SP file. So every time you run a backup, it's going to back up the control file and the SP file. It tells us finish that backup. Now, we're going to learn more commands. We're going to learn commands to be able to see backups, something like this, list backup. I could type like this, list backups. Is it backups or backup? No, it's just list backup. List backup. That shows me the backup that I have. See, list my backup sets. This is that backup that I did today. And I remember, yes, for that in that backup piece, see, so this is the backup piece, right? And that backup piece contains this data file, list of data files. It contains that list, that data file. And then the other backup piece, the name is that. And that one included my SP file and my control file. Cool, guys. So now, if I need to back up my database, it's just this. Backup database. It's going to back it up. Forget that. I won't back that up. Let's say I want to back up my data file number 1. I just do backup data file 1. Data file 1 is my system table space data file. That will back up that data file. You see, so Arman is very, very easy after you understand those configurations. Okay? Boom. So that backup is done. Now, I could say, I want to get rid of all my backup. What's the command again? I think just delete. Let me try delete backup. Yep. So do you really want to? I say yes. It will delete all the backups for me. Now, if I type that list backups, it will tell me that there are list backup. There's no S. I always put an S. It will tell me that there's no backup. Specification does not match. Guys, this is all about Arman. So I want us all to do this, guys. Oh, by the way, watch this. I can shut down my database from Arman. I can type shut down abort. That will shut down my database for me. This is an instance shutdown. Then I can type startup or do startup mount. So you start up, then you only mount the database or do startup, anything you want. You can even write some SQL statements in here. See that? My database started just in mount mode. So now I think I can do alter database open. That will open that database for me and it's available for use. Guys, this is the number 1 tool for database backup. So let's do this together. I want us all to do this together now.
Prof, quick question.
Yes, sir.
Does it mean that Arman is configured with the assumption of sys privileges? Because database shutdown is a sys.
Yes,
privilege.
Because I connected like this. Remember? I connected like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Once you connect like that, means you're connecting as sys.
Okay.
Because I can connect like this. I could connect like system sys. You see that? But I'm connected as system. So if I try, watch that. If I try shutdown, abort. Let's see if it goes down. It actually goes down. Oh, I know why. I think I had granted CDBA to system. So let's try startup. Yep. So my database is back up. So guys, I want us all to do this. Everybody with me. Let's do a backup before we go home, okay? Everybody type this for me. Let me clear my screen. Everybody type this. Arman target space / Everybody type that. When you do, let me know. Just tell me done. So I'll walk you guys through.
Done.
Okay,
Done.
one guy. Yes, my other person there.
Done.
Done.
3, 4,
Done.
Done.
5, 6. We
Done.
are 16 of us. 7. Okay, should I assume I have just 7 active students? The rest are watchers, bird watchers. What about you, Stella? You not doing it?
No, I've already said done.
Okay. Now, if you've typed that, hit enter.
Oh, hang on.
Everybody hit enter. Oops, mine just got frozen. Hit enter when you do. Oops, I'm hitting the wrong keyboard, that's why. So once you do that, you're connected to the target database, which is the database you want to back up. So I want us all to type, everybody type backup table space.
Mine says not stated. It says to target database.
Well, then your database might not be running, I don't know.
Oh,
Backup table space, everyone. Users. I know that's a table space we all have. Users. Semicolon and hit enter. Everybody do that. You should back up the users. Oh, there's something. I know I did not ask you guys to. If you've done that, you notice that I may have a few lines more than you.
Yes, you do.
You may not have this one that backs up that thing. Now,
Yeah.
let's fix it. I want to do show all. Show all. Semicolon. That will show you all your current configuration or Arman configurations. Or Arman persistent settings, really. Now, everybody watch me. If you look at the list, right, where it starts to say configure, those are the ones you can change. And I want everybody to copy the one that says configure control file auto backup. Don't copy the off, just copy to auto backup. You paste it and you type the word on near it, they put semicolon. So we want that every time we back up, we must back up the control file and the SP file. Because those are our 2 most important files in the database. Everybody type that for me, then hit enter. Guys, when you hit enter, tell me done.
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 Now,
Done.
do show all, then you notice that
Done.
parameter is now on. Everybody type show all again, excuse me. If you type show all, semicolon, you notice now that control file auto backup is on. Okay, if you've done that, I want us all to delete the backup that we did. It's just very simple. Delete backup. Everyone type delete backup semicolon. Hit enter. It's going to show the backup, then it asks you, do you really want to delete the above objects? Yes or no? So you type yes. Just type yes and hit enter. You delete that backup.
Prof, I don't think I've done the backup.
Okay, then just hold on there. Now, guys, let's do backup tablespace users. Everybody type me again, backup tablespace users.
Okay.
Backup tablespace users. Boom, your tablespace is backed up. Let me tell you guys, Arman is really easy and nice. Tomorrow, this coming Thursday, we're going to finish everything we need to know about Arman. I promise I will not waste time trying to explain the yada again. I want you guys when you go home, right, finish reading me this chapter, then I'll explain the most important thing, which already we have done. So our next chapter will be how to restore and recover. Oh, it's 11. So, hey guys, everybody type list backup, semicolon. It should show you your backup. Now, man. Cool. If you've all done that, the next thing I want us to do is I want us all, if you've you type this backup, you should see your backup. So I want us all to back up our database. Everyone just type backup space database semicolon. That's it. We type the same thing. It's not case sensitive. Backup database semicolon. Oops. If you type it wrong like I just did, it will give you backup database. That should back up your entire database. If you watch carefully, you will see the backup pieces. Everybody, watch your thing carefully. You notice the backup pieces and the backup sets being produced. They'll be listed.
In peace.
Now, this will take a little while. And believe it or not, guys, that is it about Arman. I want you, please, if you could, for me, let me just scroll down. If you do that, it's going to be running for a little while. Just look at my screen. Let me look and I give you some things to do. What I want you all to do is to do the same exercise that we have done on the BTDEV database in 12, okay?
Okay, sir.
In other words, you're going to configure the FIA, configure all of that stuff following that document that I gave you. Maybe I should write that down. Maybe I should write it down. Just
follow the document that you gave us.
Yes.
Used to turn the archiver on.
Yes. Save that document and just save it for yourself, and then you do replace all. Everywhere where you see class T, you put BTDEV.
Okay.
Just do replace all once. Then you can just run it on the BTDEV database. Then you go to the database in the cloud. you run it for all the databases. Okay. So maybe let me spell out that assignment. Let me see if I can open my Evernote here. Okay, like my backup there is done.
It's done too.
So let me just open my Evernote and I put assignment there. All you do is this, guys. You save that little document that I sent and you do replace all. Don't go replacing it one by one with your hands. You do replace all. It will change it everywhere. And remember, it's case sensitive. Just a second, let me look for that document for tonight. Because after that, my assumption would be that this class can everybody knows how to put their database in archive lock mode. And all you need to do is just know where this document is. And you go there every time. Let's see if the thing opens up. Come on. We're really. Oh, I really need to buy a new machine. Please, for all of you guys, everybody look at your account. If you're still owing me, get your thing balanced. You don't want to balance your account.
Right.
I should be worried about what I'm teaching you guys. Don't worry about collecting money from anybody. I hardly do that. I want to think about what to teach you guys, how to streamline the class, and how to align the class with the demands of today. I don't want to be worrying about collecting $5,000 from somebody. You all met your payment plan. Look at it and tell yourself, okay, am I up to date? If you're not up to date, for some reason, you can call me and say, hey, Mr. Chu, I'm running late because of this. Okay? Don't just stay, guys. Like that, that's not good. By the way, just I was on the wrong screen there. Let me come and I want to show you guys this. Okay. Come on. Can you get bigger for me? All right. So, what I want you guys to do is, you're going to take this document, right? If you click on it, it's going to open up. You save it inside your Evernote there. You can open it like I have mine here. Once you open it, you do something like this. You highlight class T, and you do Control H. Control H, this window will open down here. So let me paste, not that one. Excuse me. I needed to copy just class T. Class T, and I do Control H. And I paste class T there. And my other database is BTDev, uppercase. So I do that, I'm going to change it 12 times, you can see here. And I can even check match case, so keep the case for me. Then I do replace all. It now changed to BTDev everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We have a database in 12 in EC2. What is that database called? Remember we installed Oracle 12 in AWS?
B-test. We did.
Okay, B-test. You do the same thing, you change it in B-test. Then the 19C has a database, right? CDB1. Yes, you go there, you change it to CDB1 also. Wherever I have CDB1, you can change it and you just follow the same thing, guys. And you create that. You may go, maybe there's no U05, that's fine. But the most important thing here is that one, that U0, that order back. Cool. And that's it, guys. If you do that, you put your database in archive lock mode. And I want everybody to pay attention. We did archive lock mode in class. The archive lock format is this. And notice, I put my extension dot redo. We could put .log. So So let me go look here and we'll see what this file looks like. I want you guys to pay attention. I'll go to U05 or a data archive 2. I think that's where it is. So guys, so if I do this, oops, keep hitting the wrong key. Guys, just hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second. Let me get rid of that. So here. I do exit. I go CD. I want to go to that directory. Oops. Let me copy it again. I just lost it. Control C. Come here and paste it. Say no directory. What does that mean? I did not create that directory. Let me do /U0. Maybe it's U04.
Because you using BT Dev instead of Class T.
Oh yeah. Thank you, my man. Thank you. Yeah. So let me go. No, let me repeat that same command. That's why I like people like you. You really pay attention. Class T. Boom. So if I type LL, I want you guys to see my archive logs. You guys, I want you guys to see. I want you guys to watch something about the name of the archive log files. Let me see if I could bring the other thing over. Just 1 second. Let me bring this thing over. I want you guys to watch the name. Guys, oops, the thing is dying. My surface sucks. So, but if you watch here, log archive format, right, is arch, ARCH, _ %D, %T, %R, %S, .redo. Now see what the names look like, which I hate. It starts with this. I put this guy, the AR just says an archive log file. And then watch this number. This number is the same everywhere. Even the next one is the same everywhere. This one is the same everywhere. The only number that changes is the S, which is the sequence number. This last one. So it is stupid for me actually even making it that way. I don't like that name. That name doesn't mean anything. It's long for nothing. So I may look at that and then I say, forget that. I hate that name. I want to change it, right? And I can go. So if you watch here, that %D is this number, 453631F1. And then the minus, the T is this 1. And the R is this other number. And then the S, which is the only changing number, is that 1. Therefore, I could have even done this. I can even do something like, I want to change that name. I don't like that name for some reason. I may do, let me comment this out so you guys don't get confused with it. I may do, okay, archive, DDDD. I tell myself, forget this D. What's the longest number? I don't like these numbers. I can actually take away all of these numbers. All of those things. And my Regilog file name will be way shorter. I can even say I want to change this to just .log. If I do that, now my log file names will be way shorter. I can even take away this thing. The number will just be the sequence number and .log. So you do this based on preference, whatever you like. Okay? So for example, just copy this bad boy and log in, paste it. That is a dynamic parameter. So right now, if I do, let's just try something and you see. Can somebody tell me the command to create a log file? To archive all. We saw that in the last class. Somebody, if you have your textbook, turn to your textbook. You're going to see something like switch alter system switch log file or alter system archive log all, something like that. I've forgotten the exact command. The chapter before this, chapter 22, guys. Who has their book with them? Can somebody go there and I highlighted it in class. So if you are highlighting, you should see it with me. Let me go chapter 22. I'm looking at my textbook here, guys. Chapter 22. Anybody sees that command? I see one that says alter system checkpoint, but I know it's not that
I
one.
see alter system switch log file.
That might, okay, that will switch the log file, but it may not archive, right? But if you do switch many, many times, it's going to archive anyway. What page are you there, girl?
Page 671.
Okay, I'm on 6, okay. Alter system switch log file, yes. Then there's alter system checkpoint. I know there's another one too somewhere that would actually force that thing to archive. Alter system switch log. Are you guys on page 671, guys? Let's look. There's another one that will actually force that system to create an archive log file. Where is that? It should be somewhere around that same area. Who is that getting off when we're looking for something very important? Or they don't care anymore? Okay. If not, alter system archive log. Oh. Is it like that again? I've just forgotten. Somebody can Google that. Alter database open reset logs, not that one. Alter system, but I think it will be alter system. But that affects the entire system. There are things that are alter database, right? Some of them are alter system. Hey, guys, page 676. Configure archive. No. Alter database archive log. No, that's not it. 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 Just 1 second. Okay, it's not there. All right, let me just try this. Let me try alter system archive log all. It's not that one. Not that one. Alter system archive log all. There are no. Oh, this is it. Hey guys, watch that. Alter system archive log all. It said there are no logs that need archiving. So if I do alter system, that's why it needs me to run at least something, right? Let me pretend as if I'm doing something in the database. No, just shut down. Let's do. Okay, I just want to create one archive log file. You guys see the difference? Yeah. Let's do alter. Alter system switch. What is that? Switch log file cannot be that long. How was that switch log file again, Fube?
It's
Was it one word?
Log file is one word.
Okay. Okay, I just did that and I'll run it again. I'll run it like 3 times, right? Then I will exit and I'll type LL. There was nothing, no archive log file was produced. Okay, not yet. So we don't have anything to archive, that's why. Otherwise, you could have seen a shorter name from archive log file here. Cool. But guys, this is it about backup. Frankly speaking, backup database, back that whole thing up. And we're going to see the incremental backups, which are actually the recommended backups in the next class. And then that's it for backups. Then we also, after that, we'll start to see how to restore back your database. And we're done. And this Saturday and no, this coming Sunday, as usual, we have a class to continue with the standby databases. Now, let me just tell you guys, since you are still there, not standby, excuse me, the container database. The pluggable database should be treated the same like a non-container database, like Class T. Class T is a traditional non-container database. So that PDBs are exactly the same. It's just that at some level, they're actually sitting inside a container. So with that, you treat them a little bit differently. But backups, shutdown, startup, everything should be the same. Somebody give me a good guess here. If I back up my CDB, the container database, do I back up the PDBs also? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
It will be yes. Because the containers, the pluggables are inside the container. So if you back up the container, you back up the pluggables.
Okay.
But you can decide to back up just one pluggable alone if you want to. But you cannot back up the container without backing up the pluggables.
Okay.
That's a long night. Thank you all for adding up to an hour to the class. We have to do this so that we all finish this course, because I want that, as a matter of fact, this time next month, this Thursday will give us exactly 1 more month before we finish the first phase of the class, which means from this Thursday to that 1 month, we are going to do performance tuning. That's why I want us to finish back up on Thursday. We're going to do performance tuning. Then we're going to do data guard. Then we're going to come back and do more things in AWS before we go for our long break and come back and then just focus on projects. And all the projects would almost just be in AWS at that point. Okay? Because my goal is you guys will finish here, but your jobs would all be in AWS.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Hey, Stanley, my man.
Yes, sir.
My brother there. Yes. Call me every day and I wouldn't have time. Sometimes I want to call you, but I think you're at work, so I don't call.
Okay, I'll call you tomorrow.
Yes. When you are at work, if you have free time, sometimes just call me, let's chat, let's figure out a way forward on a lot of things.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. So I guess you're better to wake up early, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, go to bed today, and then we can talk tomorrow. And then tomorrow we have class in the evening. We can connect and do some things.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah. Good night.